lot of men validate themselves by the quality of women that they feel that they can attract, or the number of women they feel that they can sleep with or attract. And the first question one has to ask is, why are you getting involved in the dating game or in the pickup community? What stage of development are you at? Are you still all about you? I mean, sexual maturity for a man begins at the moment where you realize it's no longer about your orgasm. Yeah, but is it all about you? What can I learn? What technique can I go to manipulate somebody's awareness so that I have an agenda that I can accomplish? Or am I about being able to grow myself as a human being, as a man? Which is far more attractive, paradoxically, to women, and someone who owns himself, because he's all about raising his level of consciousness, not raising his score sheet.
And then at that point, attraction becomes automatic.
Of course. Why? Because you don't need what it is that you are desperately chasing. You already are that which you seek. You're already strong enough. And that, as I say, is very attractive to women, because they're not looking for a boy or a weak man or somebody who's got to consult his notes on what line to say next, or how to drop in a weasel phrase, or drop in some level of instigated phrase that'll trigger an insecurity so that you can take a dominant position energetically. I don't think that's right.
Hey guys, Steven here, and today I've got something really special for you. Now, the other day I sat down with Peter Sage, and if you don't know who Peter is, you probably want to look him up. He has founded over 20 companies, is a very successful entrepreneur. He's worked with Tony Robbins as one of the youngest trainers of Tony for many, many years. Has coached thousands of people. He's shared the stage with Richard Branson. He's an international speaker. And if there's one topic he eats for breakfast, and it's game, dating, and attraction. So I really wanted to sit down with him and pick his brain a little bit, because I figured it would add a lot of value to you guys. And since it influenced a lot of my philosophy on game as well. So even if you're an experienced gamer and you've been with women in the triple digits, I don't care. There's something to take away here. And even if you are a beginner, that will set you up with a proper foundation for your dating life. So pay close attention, because sometimes all it takes is one slight little sentence or one word to induce a shift that really can have a profound impact on how you move forward in life. So without further ado, enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next video. Welcome, Peter. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today on so many topics that a lot of guys struggle with, and that is improving their dating life, their success with women, and developing themselves as a man, as an integrated man. And I wanted to chat with you because I believe that you have a lot of great insights to share when it comes to that, because you have a lot of history in the personal development industry. You worked with Tony Robbins for so many years. You've worked with thousands of people, and so I'm keen to get an idea on the insights you have to share, and perhaps also your view on the pickup community and what might be done to take that to the next level. So maybe you could share a little bit of your experience. I don't know, maybe how you got started on this whole topic, success with women, and what your learnings were.
Certainly. From my side, you cover a lot of different aspects there. One of which is how do men improve themselves as a result of the dating aspect with women. How does the pickup community take itself to the next level? And there's a lot of complexity around the different aspects of that. So let me see if I can simplify it or delineate it a little bit so that people can get more of a context for seeing where they fit into that. For a start, when it comes to the whole aspect of dating, a lot of men validate themselves by the quality of women that they feel that they can attract, or the number of women they feel that they can sleep with or attract. And the first question one has to ask is, why are you getting involved in the dating game or in the pickup community? Because if it's to do it to prove that you're good enough, to self-validate, to look for short-term conquests or expressions of ego. That's one aspect of development. Now, don't get me wrong. Nobody's born enlightened. One has to go through various stages of development as a man. We're born as babies. We grow into boys. We move into adolescence, and unfortunately, for many men, they stop maturing emotionally as adolescents. They're driven by hormones, the need to prove themselves, the aspect of look at me and how many girls I've got, or look at the quality of girl that I can go and get over and above what your ability is, and therefore you may have a better degree on the wall from your university, but I'm the guy that gets the girl.
Right.
It's significance-based, ego-based, and is ultimately driven underneath by covering up insecurities that you're not good enough, so let me go keep trying to prove it. And the key word there is keep.
Right.
I keep trying to prove it. No amount of women that I can sleep with will ever fill that need unless you grow up emotionally. And so I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. What I'm saying is it is a stage of development.
Okay.
And a lot of people, just like we put a parallel together for money, a lot of people feel that they have to earn a lot of money to prove that they're good enough, because society validates me by what car I drive, what title I've got, what size my business is, whatever it may be. And you see people spend their entire life chasing that hamster wheel, running to a goal you can never have enough of. I'm a millionaire, and I thought by the time I became a millionaire, then I would have made it. But now I'm a millionaire, I'm still insecure because that doesn't actually cover up the insecurities that was driving it. Therefore, I need to earn another million now so I can feel safe in case I lose the first.
Right.
I thought when I was able to, go into a crowd and pick up any woman I want, or sleep with my first 100 women, or whatever it may be, that then I would be good enough, and then I'd be able to settle down, find one, whatever. But no, now I've essentially built a pattern on how I continually validate myself as a man, and I keep running that pattern, hoping that it'll make me feel even better or more significant, and there's no end game.
It's an open-ended game. So
it's a tunnel with no cheese.
Right.
So when one finally grows up and becomes more of an emotionally complete man, when you no longer need to validate yourself by being able to walk into the room and get the girl, when you no longer need to validate yourself by how many orgasms you can give the girl you're sleeping with, when you no longer need to validate yourself by comparing numbers on how many women that you can pick up or have been with, then you start to let go of the insecurities that were driving those figures and benchmarks.
I see.
How do you do that? By owning yourself as a frickin' man, by not needing that, by recognizing you already are that which you seek. Nothing to prove, nothing to defend, nothing to conquer. You start to grow up emotionally. Now, the paradox is this. What women are really looking for is a man who owns himself, a man who can stand strong, a man that doesn't need to compete with the other boys as to who can bed the girl that night. And that's a different philosophy. It's a different way of being. And what happens is you start attracting women to that sense of power, that sense of certainty, that sense of ownership of a core masculine presence, rather than going out and using techniques to go and try to seduce or attract or short-term manipulate yourself into a situation where you can actually go home with the girl. Two different ways of living. One you attract, the other you chase. One is through using force and battling through the crowd to try to conquer. The other is being able to stand strong from a place of power and attract what it is that you want. And one has a no end, the other doesn't need an end because it's already arrived.
Right, so it's already integrated, and but then in that regard, what is the role of the woman then in that sense? So if you're already complete as a man, we still seek that kind of completion of a counterpart to.
I disagree. Right? I say that most people get into relationships, or most people are looking for connection. Most people ultimately are looking for love, but because they don't love themselves to that extent, they really feel that they're trying to find it in other, or the expression of sexual connection. And therefore, they're walking around as like a half circle, looking for another half circle to complete them. Which is why it'll always be momentary sense of pleasure and then you get bored, or then you still feel unfulfilled, or whatever it is, because once that experience is finished, or while it's going on, you're still a half circle. And if you enter a relationship with that mentality, then it breeds codependency, it breeds fear of loss. There's no aspect of that is healthily at an emotional level of maturity long term. Once you know that you're a full circle yourself, once you come to the awareness that nobody can ever love or validate you more than you love or validate yourself, then when you come to that circle, you're free to choose to be with somebody who's another full circle, and now 1 + 1 is 11.
Right.
And you have a healthy level of expression at that point. You don't need to validate yourself through it. And most people don't love themselves. They've never been taught how to love themselves. Most people have never had a mirror held up to them to say, you're already good enough. You were born good enough. You're complete. You don't need a Ferrari to be able to validate that. So therefore, you're free to go out and go chase the business success because it's something that's a natural expression of what you enjoy doing, not that you're desperate to do it so that you can prove to your teachers that you weren't a screw up at school. So when it comes to being whole, when it comes to owning yourself as a man, and again, it's a journey.
I was just about to say this. It doesn't happen overnight like this.
It's not meant to. We're part, but it's direction of travel, and for those that have been in the game that long, that they still need, or they know that they can now go out and get a short-term connection, but they still wake up and there's a part of them that's unfulfilled. Then it's basically life saying, hey, you've graduated this class, it's time to go to college. Right? But staying in school at the same year just because you know you can pass the exam, that's not what life's about.
It's just scoring 100 on the same exam over and over again because I know the answers.
Because you're scared of being able to move into a place where you have to risk uncertainty once more, where you have to embrace the fact that you're not enough at that level. You don't have to validate yourself. But that's the nature of getting in school. And we're in Earth School. That's the nature of why we're here. Why are we here? This is a growth-centric experience called life. Nature operates on 2 rules, growth and contribution. Now, the challenge with the pickup community is it's not about contribution, it's about self-serving. And that's the issue. Because you're learning techniques on how to manipulate for your own benefit, for your own sense of achievement, accomplishment, goals, desires, rather than learning how to influence somebody. I'll give you a quick story. Many years ago, I was... I had owned a chain of health clubs that I built with another great entrepreneur, Jan, and we were looking to sell the master franchise rights to Australia. And so we went over to Australia, and we were negotiating the deal. And there was we're in a bar, and there was this smoking hot brunette that walked in. And I'm like, at that time I was single, and I had 2 beliefs that drove me around women. One is there isn't a woman on the planet I couldn't pick up if I didn't want it. Married, lesbian, doesn't matter. Case closed, right? Gerbil, tiger, done. Right? Absolute rock solid confidence when it came to that game. Second belief, I never ever get rejected. I simply find out if they have good taste or not.
It's all about the reframe.
But with those 2 rules, you can go and play the dating game almost impervious to the fear of rejection. And lack of confidence. So at that time in my life, we're talking sort of nearly 20 years ago. That's where I was at. And again, I could walk any level of PUA. And I know most of the guys in the game. I've hung out with Tyler and the RSD guys, and it's we share. That game I've mastered. But I see this smoking hot brunette, and I watch her bat like 4 guys off in the first 20 minutes. Right? And so I pick my time. I walk up. But within 2 to 3 minutes of chatting, I realized that this girl has a lot of issues. And she was like 20 at the time, and everybody, we're all 20, we've all got issues, right? But there was part of me that thought, well, I could actually help this girl. At that point, I was just become one of the youngest trainers ever for Tony Robbins. I was the youngest serving trainer at the time. I was an intervention-seeking missile. I was working with homeless, drug addicts, suicide, abuse cases, trauma. That's what I do. I was volunteering a month of my time to go around and help people around the world in psychotherapeutic intervention, all that kind of stuff. But I was also, young, testosterone-driven alpha male guy, and that brunette, for the evening, was, on my radar. But within 3 minutes, I realized that, yes, I have a skill set where I could probably take this girl home without too much of an issue, but I also have a skill set that can add value to her. Now, one of those outcomes is self-serving. The other outcome is being able to contribute to the greater good. But if I start to help her, there's no way I'm going to be able to sleep with her, because that is crossing a boundary. So what do? I have a dog on my shoulder here saying, yeah, you could really add some value to this girl's life, and the other dog saying, yeah, but she's smoking hot. Yeah? In all fairness, it's not even a conversation. It's, I'm not 21 and high on hormones. I got a sense of what my purpose was at that point. I'm going to help the girl. I spend an hour with her at the bar. She throws her arms around me at the end of the night, gives me a peck on the cheek, completely, transformed this girl's life. Never see her again. 7 years later, I'm in Tokyo at an airport leaving for Cape Town, for a conference. And I get a friend request on Facebook, and beautiful looking girl, but I don't accept friends on Facebook because it's how I manage my social side, because I don't have any family. I've got no brothers or sisters or parents or grandparents, what have you. So Facebook is how I manage my my personal interaction. So I don't accept anyone I don't know personally.
Right.
But anyway, so I send off a message saying, I appreciate the friend request, but how do we know each other? I land in Cape Town, I check my Facebook, and I got a message back, and it says, oh, my dearest Peter, you probably don't remember me, but 7 years ago in a bar in Melbourne, you changed my life. And this girl has gone on. I won't tell you the full story here because I don't want to bring it to you. But she's gone and become a very famous girl in the profession that she's gone into.
Okay.
And she actually has taken on a persona that reminds her of the hour in the bar where it all started as part of her name. And it was massively humbling. And she's gone on to inspire a lot of men in the industry that she's gone into. And all down to that bar. And me being true to my values that night in terms of what can I contribute rather than what can I take has had a massive ripple effect that's added a lot of value to a lot of other people. And so, my question is to the guys watching is, what stage of development are you at? Are you still all about you? I mean, sexual maturity for a man begins at the moment where you realize it's no longer about your orgasm. And a lot of men don't grow out of that for a while. But is it all about you? What can I learn? What technique can I go to manipulate somebody's awareness so that I have an agenda that I can accomplish? Or am I about being able to grow myself as a human being, as a man, which is far more attractive, paradoxically, to women, and someone who owns himself, because he's all about raising his level of consciousness, not raising his score sheet.
And then at that point, attraction becomes automatic.
Of course. Why? Because you don't need what it is that you were desperately chasing. The paradox is then it starts being far more attractive to you because you no longer have to work for it because you don't need it. You already are that which you seek. You're already strong enough. And that, I say, is very attractive to women because they're not looking for a boy or a weak man or somebody who's got to consult his notes on what line to say next or how to drop in a weasel phrase or drop in some level of instigated phrase that'll trigger an insecurity so that you can take a dominant position energetically. I mean, give me a freaking break. That's but babies are egocentric because they have to be. But if you want to step up from being a boy to being a man, then I got news for you guys. It's time to grow up, emotionally. And one of the biggest complaints out there from women today is that there's not enough real men.
Right.
Now they're to an extent playing some of the same game. Why? Because we're all human and we've all got insecurities. You got a woman who's got fake nails, fake hair, fake boobs, fake lips, and then complains she can't get a genuine guy. Right. But they're playing the same game because society has conditioned them that they're not good enough unless they look a certain way. And if they happen to have not won the genetic lottery, then they feel a level of insecurity because they don't look like the front cover of Vogue or Cosmo. So, for them, they're desperately seeking validation and approval. Okay? So again, they're walking around in the half circle. So it's not all one-sided, but if you can show up from a place of genuine ownership, you walk into a room, and you don't need to validate yourself. There's no game that's going on. Right? Because you've graduated that class. You'd be amazed at what kind of quality of woman that you then attract. You want to go out and date cheerleaders. We've all been there. Yeah, and that may be fun for a night or two.
Yeah.
But that hamster wheel gets pretty old pretty quick. Yeah, to the point where you wake up one day and think, is this all there is? Yeah, you've probably gone through that.
Yeah, and it's also there's always this debate. Yes, I want obviously a great quality woman, and if I understand you right, then it's about raising your own level of awareness, your own ownership, your self-worth, self-love, and then you don't necessarily have to sift through so many different women, but you will attract the one that is comparable.
And you're no longer competing. Why? Because if you walk into a bar and you're still insecure because you think you still need the looks you don't have, or you're not tall enough, or you're not rich enough compared to all the other guys and all this kind of crap, so therefore you're trying to work on how best to manipulate the situation with charisma and charm and all the tactics. And you're playing that game. Well, I got news for you. The quality of who you're going to attract at that point is going to be comparable, and they're probably going to wake up tomorrow morning and not feel great either. Whereas if you're able to come from a place of really being centered, no other guy or very few guys in the party are coming from that place. And women can feel that in a heartbeat. There's an energy, there's a centeredness, there's an equanimity, there's a strength, there's a presence. Right? You're not on your game. You don't need to be because you're not playing the game. You graduated the game, so now you just are. Right? And how many other guys in the room are playing at that level? Virtually none. So by showing up, you essentially put yourself at a higher level of the game, and it becomes far more effortless to attract girls. Far more effortless to be appealing because you've got what all the other guys are still trying to figure out and doing it from a place of insecurity.
It's interesting. So to anyone watching, and they might think, okay, Peter, that sounds great. I just got to own myself, but they might not be at the stage where you're at, or someone who has been working on himself for quite a number of years. Maybe they're just starting out. Is it then that they might have to fake it till they make it, or and go through that process of trying things out, trying a little bit of the techniques, and simply to get out of their rut, or also to expand the comfort zone if the confidence is not there.
The key is to ask yourself the question, be honest with yourself as to what it is you're doing and why. If you say, hey, listen, I've never had success with women, I'm petrified of rejection, own that. That's okay. We're human. I want to be able to give myself a skill set so that I can compete at that level with other guys and be able to find some level of attraction to women. But I recognize it's a stage of development, and I'm not all about what can I take. If I do manage to get a girl, then how can I add value to that girl? Not go here, tick that one off the bedpost. Even to a point where if you're in bed with her, how do you make her feel? Right? And I don't mean physically trying to get her to orgasm. How do you make her feel emotionally? Do you make her feel like she's the most special woman in the world that night? Do you be able to look her in the eye and tell her how fucking beautiful she is? Regardless, right? Do you make her that experience something that's positive for her, or is she going to wake up next morning and feel like shit? Right? Because she fell for again the same kind of guy she keeps attracting. Step out of the crowd. So ask yourself, why am I doing this, and at what point do I think I'm going to graduate? Because otherwise you're going to step on that hamster wheel and not know when to get off. Like saying, oh well, when I make my first million, then I'll be okay. Well, I've got news for you. No, you won't. That's the perception of when you don't have a million. But trust me, I've been there. Oh, when I get my first business to this point, then I'll be great. No, then I need a second business, or for me, an eighth. At the same time, stressed out of my mind because I was trying to cover up the insecurities of not being enough and trying to prove to the world I was good enough. And that's a fast way to a heart attack.
I can imagine.
So ask yourself, why am I doing this? What do I need to do to validate myself? And if I can do it outside of that, then I'm free to go play the game because I'm not doing it from a place of neediness, desperation, insecurity, validation. They're the things you're really working on. If you're using the PUA community as a vehicle to help you get over that, that's great. But if you're doing it because, you're just high on hormones and think it's fun and you've got no real agenda other than the selfish, then, stay an emotional adolescent for the rest of your life and see how it feels.
So the PUA stuff might get you from A to B, but it doesn't get you from B to C.
Never. Yeah, and like anything in life. If we're not on a continuous path of personal growth, life will give us some feedback. And it's usually, unfortunately, at that level of consciousness, we tend to learn more from painful experiences than pleasurable ones. So expect life as the examiner to give you a pretty tough test rather than an easy one.
I can imagine, because well, I also like how you put the whole notion of masculine energy, feminine energy together, and well, you're also very deep into spirituality, and this whole idea of soulmates. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to find my soulmate. We briefly talked about that yesterday evening, and I found it really interesting. Might be worthwhile to share with everyone.
I don't know how long we got.
In a just a rough thing, what do you think, or what's your perception what a soulmate is, and is there only one, or are there more?
The fairy tale industry is alive and well and takes Visa, MasterCard, and Amex. Right? That we've been sold on the romantic notion of one partner for life, and the challenge is that most of us haven't got our own selves figured out. And what we do is we don't come from a place of unconditional love. Unconditional love is a foreign concept to most people because they're still dealing with insecurities and they could easily get triggered. And I'll love you as long as you fit these pictures. I'll love you forever until you do this, or this, or something better comes along, or whatever it is. And my whole aspect of Soulmates is I'm here to walk my truth as best I can. Not perfectly. Sometimes we need to course correction by going off track. To know that we have to go back on track. So, like the rumble strip on a freeway, it's there to guide you back. So, it's not about being perfect. That's not why we're here. If you're the smartest money in the room, find a smarter room. But when it comes to the whole aspect of soulmates, if I'm with somebody and I'm walking my truth, and I'm lucky enough to have somebody else walk their truth alongside me, I will celebrate that. That's a soulmate in that moment. But 5 years later, 5 minutes later, lifetimes later. Doesn't matter. If their truth is to walk a different path, and that's their truth, who am I to invalidate that? Who am I to say, no, you're not allowed to walk your truth, you've got to walk next to me? Or who am I to compromise my truth, right, to walk off path because I'm coming from neediness, insecurity? Every relationship ends. Just sit with that for a second. Every single relationship, by definition, ends. Now, either in a romantic context or a partner context, either one or both of them will die, or they will choose to walk a different path. But every relationship you have in your life, I don't care if it's a relationship with your kids, a relationship with your house, a relationship with your business, or a relationship with your body, at some point, that relationship will end. So knowing that up front helps us let go of the sort of clinginess, the neediness, the insecurity, the desperation, the I can't live without you. I mean, the whole Tom Cruise, you complete me, right? If you need someone to complete you, right, we need to have a chat. Because until you can show up complete, you're never going to be able to get the most out of the relationship game. And I'm lucky enough to be with somebody right now, and that I can class as a soulmate. And I'm very happy in that relationship, but I also know if her truth is to walk a different path tomorrow or go do something with somebody else tomorrow, whatever it may be, they outlawed slavery a long time ago. I don't own somebody. I have no right to impose my rules, values, model onto somebody else. And if they go to choose to do something, I have every right to choose how to respond. But I have no right to choose how to stop them, or to judge them for it. Right? That's just, again, that's a tyrannical level of relationship where you may as well be married to a jailer. So, from a soulmate perspective, who am I with right now, and is that my truth to be with them? And when I say my truth, I'm on about, there's going to be times where you're going to be uncomfortable. truth isn't everything's great and lovely. Yeah, the purpose of a relationship, and yeah, please listen to me now, is not to be happy. If you think that, you're in Disneyland. The purpose of a relationship is to attract somebody into your life to be able to hold up a mirror to show you the parts of yourself you're not willing to own. So if you say, oh, I'm no longer happy in this relationship, I'm out of here, then that's just looking for short-term comfort. Yeah, what is it about that that's triggering something for you to be able to look deeper inside to be able to resolve? Now, once you've done that, if your truth is still to leave the relationship, then that's different. But if you're leaving it because you can't deal with the pain, because you're not willing to own or go deeper into what the lessons are that pain's triggering for you, then you're only going to attract somebody else that's going to bring the same exam.
There's many different topics, that you could dive in deeper, but if you could perhaps, as a final bit of advice, what would be like the top things to focus on in order to, as you say, that emotional level of maturity, how can I grow this the fastest?
Recognize why you're doing what you're doing. Yeah, that you're in Earth School, that you are on a path of personal growth and development. And the more you want to stand still and repeat the same exam, the more life is going to give you some feedback as to that's not going to be fulfilling. And it could be a hard slap, it may be a gentle slap, it may be a gentle slap to begin with, but it tends to get harder. You go down the freeway of life and you hit the rumble strip and you were happy listening to your music and doing what you're doing. And most people say, oh, that's inconvenient, I was listening to my music, let me turn the music up. No, it's there to, if you keep going, you're going to go off the verge. Life is constantly giving us feedback. Right, so, and that could be anything from relationships to health. You get a mild heart attack and some people say, oh, well, that's inconvenient, well, let me get over it, but they still go out and eating burgers and fries all day.
They're blind to what's actually causing them pain.
So from that perspective, just recognize where you are on the journey. If you're all about, well, I just want to go out and get my rocks off, then that may be great for the first few months to give you some security that you have the validation that you are good enough to go out and stand on your own 2 feet. But if you keep doing that, you're invalidating the reason why you're here. You want to be a real man, which is really why the initial impetus for most people getting into the PUA, because they're trying to validate themselves by what they can do with women, because a man validates himself most often by the ability to attract a partner. Then recognize that there's another level, that you're here to play a bigger game, not just be a emotional adolescent driven by hormones. Step up. There's a calling to greatness there, and every single man that has gone through that you speak to will tell you it's another world, it's another level, and he will never go back.
It's very deep. Like, you really have to let that sink in. Peter, thank you so much for sharing the wisdom with all of us. Even with all the time that I've known you now, and that I had the pleasure of getting some of your insights. I always learn something new. There's always another level, and I really, the way you're able to phrase it and make it so significant, so simple, is very inspiring. If you want to see more of Peter's content, I highly recommend you check out his YouTube channel, or his website, petersage.com. And I know you have some more amazing stuff coming up. You're working on some new events, some books, and there's exciting times coming up for you. So
looking forward to it. And it'd be a pleasure to be able to share some of that with your community and help them along the journey of becoming the ultimate man.
Awesome, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care, apply the lessons, go on the journey, and enjoy the game.
Stay amazing.
Peter.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.